with it all day.
Go and turn that TV on. What?
So that seems like it's working.
Where's everyone at?
I don't know. It's just 5-2. All right. I'm just going to go and have a very quick pee, if that's all right. Whoops. Here comes somebody else. I've just gone from meeting to meeting. He's just joined us now. Charlie. Hello, Charlie. We can't hear you, Charlie. I don't know if you can hear us. Now you're muted. Now you're unmuted. Okay, I'm not sure where you're on, but if you click audio, there's a next to the microphone where there's a little up arrow. If you click that, you can select which microphone you want. Okay, we can't hear you. Okay, while you're working that out, I'm just going to loop.
I've only got like the person who's talking on the screen. Yeah, that's all you're supposed to have. And now I'm looking at your ceiling. Cheeky girl. So could you not see everybody else? I can see you. Yeah, that's all I can. Don't know why. Maybe I always got it set up. I look terrible. Maybe I always got it set up. Where's Charlie? Can't hear him. Can't see him or hear him.
Can we hear you, Charlie?
No.
Still can't hear you. All right, well, while we're waiting for Charlie, can you hear us, Charlie? Okay, all right. So let's start by building the container. Oh, good, here comes Claire. All right, well, we'll give it another minute.
Yeah.
Charlie, maybe you want to reboot your whole computer. Hello, Claire. If you can hear us, we can't hear you. It's you're muted. Who else said they were going to come today?
Everybody, I think, from that training.
Yeah.
But there's been an incident, hasn't there, where there was loads of riots last night, so people are out helping people. It was protest, wasn't it? But they went mad.
Oh, is that happening in your area?
Yeah, in Hartlepool, yeah.
Yeah, what are people protesting about?
Well, it started over them girls in Southport.
How far Southport from you?
It's like just on the outskirts of Liverpool, about 4 hours drive.
Oh, okay, it's a long way away.
Yeah, yeah. 3, 4 hours. They've attacked cars and the Salam Centre, haven't they? Yeah, the Salam Centre was attacked.
Everything.
And the whole of the street that the Salam Centre's in was attacked. And the
Can you
mosque.
hear us, Charlie?
Yeah, I can. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Now
I swapped from my laptop to my phone.
Yeah, well, that's working. Your laptop's still on. Do you want to switch it off?
Oh, my laptop's still on, yeah.
Okay, Charlie and Claire, are you both all right for it to be recorded? It's not going out
Yeah.
it's not going out to the wider world. It's not public, it's unlisted. And I'm just recording it to the Recovery Connections YouTube channel. So there's a history and we can do research to see how this is going and what can be better and things like that. So it does two things.
Yeah.
It gives us evidence. Yep. And yeah, it also shows us who's showing up. So with your certification, when you get your certificate, we can say, yep, this is a student, this is their classroom attendance, here's the proof to it, and things like that.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, let's start with the check-in. Who wants to kick us off?
I'll kick us off. I'm Trisha. I've had a busy week doing safeguarding, open to join Poppy in rehab soon to shadow her. Yeah, just looking forward to the future, me. That's about it, really. That's me.
Who are you tagging?
I'll tag Emma. Yeah, I've had a good week. Pretty much the same as Trish. Safeguarding and hopefully shadowing someone. But yeah, it's been busy, but it's been good. And yeah, that's me. And I tag Charlie.
Thank you very much, Roger. I'm good, thanks. Well, I'm feeling good, thanks. Feeling excited about this Zoom call. Been feeling excited about the coaching actually, and about my taking part. I got loads out of the 3 days. When it finally dawned on me what this actually was, when halfway through the Monday, I'm like, oh, and I kind of had a light bulb moment. I was like, this is what it is. So yeah, I'm feeling excited about everything actually.
Great. Claire?
And attacker.
Oh, hello everyone. I wasn't sure if I was actually working. I'm like, I'm here. I managed to come. I think I could be start talking to myself or not bother. Hello everyone. I am good. I've pulled my table out onto the patio to get some of the sunshine, but it's been peeing down all day. So I'm looking forward to this. Yeah, definitely. So what else have we got in? Is that us? Is that all there is?
Yeah, no, then there's me. So I'm checking in. I'm excited to see you all. I'm really been looking forward to this class as well. At 3 o'clock, hopefully some people from a Lero called Raw will be joining us. They're down in Kent, I think it is. Reach Out and Recover. And yeah, so they're doing this as well. So just to contract with you, this is going to be 10 weeks of 2 hours a week. Yep. And then at the end of that, you would have done 20 hours. And what this training is called Systemic Wellness Practitioners. And the purpose of this is to take coaching as a skill and to incorporate it into your professional lives, the places that you work. Okay. Does that make sense? So it's not like we just do a 3-day. It's not like we do a 3-day workshop and go rah 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 rah, go and leave, and then the training doesn't get integrated. So that's what this is about. Yeah. And I'd like to get curious about the riots and what's going on in your community.
It started off, it was supposed to be a peaceful protest, and then you just have all the idiots joining in, and it just
turned into a mob.
Setting cars on fire, smashed shops. They started on the mosque, they started on the Salam Centre. There's a street in Hartlepool called Murray Street, and the majority of the street is foreign. So that street got really tortured. It's just ridiculous, really.
Okay, so racism is really kind of...
I mean, it started off a peaceful protest. It wasn't anything to do with race, but then that's what it turned into.
I think what's happened is because they're not calling it a terror attack, are they, man, in Southport, where there was a few children that were killed.
3 were dead. There was 5 injured, and then the 2 caregivers who were trying to help the kid. They're critical as well.
There's a lot of unrest. There's a lot of tension in the UK the minute because of this.
And then there's been a few things over the past few months.
Yeah, and then there's like a kind of far right, and we called EDL, which is the English Defenceman League. And I get caught in traffic last night, right in the middle. I get caught in traffic. I was right in the middle of the protest last night. I mean, there's a far right group called EDL, which is English Defence League. Now, I'm all for protest and having an opinion and having a voice, but when you're protesting with cans of lager in your hand and you're half drunk and all this stuff, then it just turns into loutish your behaviour, and then you can't really get your message across because
the message got totally lost in the chaos.
It did, Tricia, you're right, absolutely, completely right, I completely agree. It looked more like football thuggery, which I used to be involved in. It looked like in my football and my thuggery, the kind of laddish behaviour with the tattoos, the baldy head, and drinking a pint and all that stuff, and that's what it looked like to me. It looked like football hooliganism. It didn't look like a protest, and it's Tricia.
Yeah. There's been that old fella killed in Hartlepool recently by an immigrant as well, haven't they? He was murdered.
Yeah.
Stabbed, and they tried to cover it up. There was a lot of things. So, yeah, there was a protest arranged, and then obviously this group, the EDL, have jumped on it, used it as an opportunity to turn off and let their opinion. Yeah, you know what I mean? But unfortunately, they terrorised the whole community. I was tagged in a link this morning up at a boxing gym that provides training for children. There was a woman whose car was trying to get her baby in a baby carrier into the car, and they were throwing bricks at her with a baby carrier in her hand, and they couldn't let the kids out. The kids were traumatised. They spent half the night trying to calm these kids down. Couldn't leave the building. Absolutely disgraceful. So now, unfortunately, anybody who has, maybe a legitimate or reasonable voice on the issue of the mass immigration and where some of these people are actually coming from, now gets tied in with the crowd that turned up last night. So now the message gets lost. Unfortunately.
Yeah, totally.
So let's all just take a breath. Yep, and then just notice how what stuff gets invoked in us. Yeah. So when you're talking in the container, yeah, let's just have one person talk, and then we hear it, and then we move on to the next person. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because this is a very charged subject. Okay. All right. So let's start with Emma.
Discussing the riots. I'm all for a peaceful protest, but obviously mob mentality took over, and as the day went on, it got worse as people were drinking, and it just lost its value. It just turned into mobs. But yeah,
So how do you feel about it, Emma?
like I said, I'm all for a peaceful protest because that's getting the point across without the violence. Without, I mean, what are we showing if we're just all hoying bricks and burning down cars? And that's not what kind of messages are sending across. It should be
So
peaceful.
how
It should be getting your point across in a peaceful manner.
so how do you feel about that sort of behavior?
I feel like it's out of control.
Yeah, okay.
It's offensive.
It's offensive, out of control, yeah.
It's hurting people that are not involved in it. It's making people scared,
So it's unjust,
unjust. Yeah, it's unfair. And
unfair.
they got kids involved where kids were throwing things as well, and that's just what kind of example is that setting?
Okay. Right. So thank you for that. Okay. Trisha, let's move to you next.
So yeah, I agree, and it's annoyed me because there is a message there that I don't think it needs something needs sorting out, but that message has been totally lost because of idiotic behaviour, violence.
So
I
so
mean,
so
I
you're
understand people are angry, but they've just made it worse.
so you're feeling angry, yeah?
Annoyed, really annoyed with them because
Annoyed, yeah. And you think that the message that was trying to be portrayed
it's lost.
or put across has now been diluted by this unjust, violent behavior.
Yep.
Great. Okay. Thank you for that. Claire?
Yeah, very much the same thing. Yeah, there is at the moment in the UK a certain air and feeling of injustice towards the British population. You know, we are very much on the back burner. We've been exposed to a lot of dangerous people, you know, that aren't necessarily vetted. They are prioritised, put into B&Bs and hotels by our homeless guys
Mhm.
on the street, you know. But, and there is a legitimate ground for protest there. But those that turned up and did what they did that night, they are not the legitimate voice, the balance or reason that needs to be put to the forefront because it was absolutely disgraceful. It's disgraceful. It's appalling.
So the behavior leaves you with a feeling of shame. It's disgraceful and appalling.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Okay, great. Okay, thanks. Charlie?
I kind of come at it from a bit of a different point of view, actually, because I used to be involved in it. I come from a very far right football hooliganism background, where I was back in the madness, so I know what these men are feeling. And I also see the men who were out there are feeling neglected. They're feeling they're not being heard by society. Their voice only being heard, and I feel as if there's an agenda by the media and by the people that are in charge of this country to distract from the bigger picture. And for me, the bigger picture is you keep people fighting amongst each other, while I see the bigger picture as the wealth being only distributed to the wealthy, and we keep the poor poor, and we keep immigration, and then we pour immigration into the poor, so that there's a powder keg. It only takes a match. It only takes something like what we think is terrorism, or it only takes a newsreel. It only takes something because they keep pouring immigration. They keep putting poor in the poor, and it only takes a powder keg. And then they're also putting different beliefs, different religions in with each other, and it only takes a match and it explodes. And that's what I feel. I come from. I actually see the men who were there in my last human night, and I don't concur with the violence. No one should be assaulting anybody. No one should be going out and smashing my windows of businesses. No one should be going there drunk, and that's the thing that I don't believe. But I do believe that white men have been discriminated in this country for far too long, and our voices are being are being are being are being manipulated, because when we speak out we're far right, but in actual fact we feel very desponded by this country. That's where you come from, but I don't violence or anything like that. Man, your last night is terrible. There should never be anything. It should be peaceful protest. But I do feel for those men. That's where I'm come from.
Okay, so you've don't condone the behavior, but you have a lot of compassion for the men that inflicting it.
Yeah.
And you feel that voice, the white male voice, isn't being heard.
That's how I feel.
And there's a lot of frustration.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it just takes one incident for the whole thing to blow up. Okay.
Yeah, and I think that's what's happening.
Okay, great. Okay. So what's the feeling in the container now? How are we doing?
Yeah, I'm good.
Yeah, I'm good.
Okay, so the first thing that we need to do is to try and contain this container. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
There are going to be some strong opinions here, yeah? And unless we can stay in the room and contain the topic, yeah, it's going to be a fuck up. Does that make sense? So
Yeah.
if you take it back to addiction, yeah, you have a dad comes into clinic, dad gets sobered up, and then you have a family meeting, and dad's got to sit there and to be held accountable to his violence, that when he was drunk he would fuck his wife up. Yeah, how would you contain that conversation? Charlie, your body language is fantastic. Charlie just went. Okay.
So no, you would have to set up an agreement, like a contract.
So the challenge is, it needs to be spoken about, but it needs to be spoken about in a way that keeps everyone in a culture of recovery. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And you have a duty of care to do that. You can't just kind of say, you got to kind of think, well, this person's going to be going out of treatment back into their environment. If we don't talk about this stuff, we're liable. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Get it all out there and then.
Yeah.
But in a peaceful way. Talk to each other as opposed to shout.
Hey?
Talk to each other instead of shouting. Discuss.
And it gets difficult at times, because people have some strong feelings.
Yeah, but if he's taking account, he's got to take accountability for what he's talking about as well.
Yeah. Okay. So how will you know if someone's taken accountability?
You see remorse.
You see remorse. And what is remorse? Remorse is like a sense of shame.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Do you think by just being there in the first place, man would be showing some bit of acceptance of the behaviour?
Okay.
No.
Right.
No, no, no,
No.
no.
Like you just said that we would have a duty care to make sure this conversation took place. They would have to be there. It doesn't mean that they really, some people might not have yet come to terms with what they've done.
All right.
But
We would
So
have to give everybody a structured way of speaking without it becoming an attack on the person, so they didn't feel attacked and maybe tear down any of the work that they've done, I would imagine. But let everybody speak in a calm, controlled way, not necessarily kindly, but without malice.
so Charlie would commend, yeah, the guy coming in. So listen, I just want to thank you for coming here today. This is a difficult conversation to have, but you're
Yeah.
a fucking violent brute when you're pissed. And this is the reality of it. And as part of your recovery, you're going to be going back to your wife, maybe. Yeah. And Mrs. Jones, I really just want to honor you for coming here today, because in spite of the violence, there's something that's brought you here today. Yeah. Can we navigate a way forward?
Would they reach some common ground on the conversation? Because if they've obviously come to like if they've come to a coaching meeting, both of them, they both know why they're there. Would they, in contract, no be like he reach some common ground? First of all, I don't know.
Be a bit media.
Before you start.
So Tricia, Emma, what are your feelings on this?
I think, yeah, find a common ground, and I think like mediate a bit, like get both sides and try and come to some sort of agreement, contract.
Let them both speak as one, like not interrupt, not frap, I suppose. Explain it's a discussion, it's not an argument, but explain that the feelings are going to be shared. And it's about finding how they're going to deal with them feelings together.
Not easy, huh?
No.
And it's also we're not social workers.
No.
We're coaches. Yeah, and we're trying to use coaching here to improve our organizations. Yeah. So what is the goal of your organizations that you work at?
Help people come substance free, living a happy life.
Okay.
Help people to cope with life, substance free.
Okay. Charlie and Claire, what's happening? What's it? Blueberry
health and well-being. Yeah.
Yeah.
We
Okay.
are looking. We already offer that. We take a holistic approach. It's not just one thing in recovery. There's many elements to it, and we would take that forward in our coaching strategies. We would want to make sure everybody is well from as many perspectives as possible, to let them live a healthy, free of addiction.
Okay. Charlie?
Yeah, we come at it you from an alternative from therapy, where it's more like a meditation, walking and talking, strength and training, going back in nature. That's the kind of well-being recovery that we focus on.
So imagine what it must feel like to be a Muslim person in Hartlepool now.
Hello.
Yeah.
Imagine what it's like walking down the street with your kids.
I know.
Yeah.
Terrifying.
What does that invoke inside of you?
Shame. It's yeah. Like
We're not about that, are we? We're not against any religion or anything like that. You know, and they're not speaking for everybody with the violence, and that's what they're showing.
like
So,
I can
so
I can understand people's point of view when it comes to like the terrorists and things like that. But like for instance, if you had one English guy and another English guy, and one English guy murdered a woman, raped and murdered a woman, that doesn't mean the other English guy is going to go and do the same. It's like it to me it's racist.
Which is not the message that they're trying to get across.
okay. So it goes against your kind of common values.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like that's not what we're about here at Hartlepool.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
because there's only one race, and that's a human race in my eyes. And it's just that's not what it's all about.
It's sad.
Such a,
Like it makes me
such
sad.
a juicy topic. Sorry, what was that, Tricia?
It makes me sad.
Makes
Yeah.
I feel like people like are scared to walk the streets in their own home. Like they
Right.
feel
I'm the
like
same as Trisha.
home. It's sad.
Yeah.
It's sad.
It is sad. Traumatizes children and everybody, really.
So shame, sadness, and trauma.
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
Charlie, what did you say there? I missed
Oh,
that.
I agree with Trisha, man, and sadness. I feel man sadness if a Muslim person was afraid to walk the streets of Hartlepool, especially because I'm from Hartlepool, and I know what nicer people they are in Hartlepool and how accepting they are to other faiths and religions and other people coming out, and other people coming in. I love Hartlepool, so it's quite sad.
All right. So Charlie, let's say in one of your groups, yeah, you've got a couple of Muslim people and a couple of people from what was the group called?
And the Blueberry Health and Wellbeing,
No. The far right people.
EDL,
EDL.
EDL.
So you've got a couple of blokes from EDL and you've got a couple of Muslim blokes sitting in one of your health and well-being. Yeah. Well, how would you manage that?
I think, first
some
of
haven't
all,
we?
I would make sure that the container was safe and that we had our contract. First of all, I would set that up, sure that the culture was everyone there was at ease with each other, and ask the question, "How are you feeling?" and get that sort of feeling of what's in the room. And first of all, before I would say or do anything, that would be my first. I kind of go back to the way that you did it, David. You remember when you came into the class and everybody was sitting down, and you said that they were anxious, and then it kind of made us feel, oh, he's just normal. He's just like us. So I would probably take something from that and make sure that everyone was safe. First of all, I think.
Okay. So you would say something like, "Yeah, I used to be a hooligan, but I've got a lot of compassion now and
Yeah,
understanding, and I feel kind of embarrassed about what's going on here, and I'd love us to be able to try and work this out, but I really do recognize how your voice hasn't been heard and your frustration, loneliness around that. And I also acknowledge the impact that this might be having on your family and your children living in terror and fear."
yeah, absolutely. Um, yeah, I would definitely use some of my backstory, to, I mean, kind of put the room at ease. He say that I've been in that man's side of the fence. I kind of know a little bit about the hatred even that I had in my heart from Muslims. But I would be very careful weighing my words and my terminology. I think, first of all, it's about gauging the room.
Okay. Claire?
Yeah, it's a tricky one. I would personally, I would see the level. I would try and read the level of the feeling that was coming from each party, and I suppose you just got to act like a mediator. You know, bring that level down and let each other express what they might be feeling in a calm way. Although we do advocate with our group at the moment that no political views are welcome at all. You come down there, you join the group, you join in, and any opinions, expressions outside of that group do not come into play. But that would be different in a coaching setting, wouldn't it? Yeah, it would depend on the individuals involved and how you would approach it, really. But yeah, what Charlie said, just talk to them on the same level without aggression, and just allow them to work it through between themselves, but calmly. You know, you feel like this and you feel like this. Can you understand why they might feel like this? And can you accept that they might feel like this way, you know? And get to a point where you bring the level down and allow people to move on from it.
So you're reading the container. You're reading the room. Reading the room.
Yeah. Yeah.
Trying to work out,
Absolutely.
is it going towards a culture of recovery or a culture of resilience? Or is it dropping into a culture of adversity or a culture of addiction? So you're constantly kind of trying to read it. Yeah. And I've got to say this, I would feel very safe.
Each situation would be different, wouldn't it?
Yep. So I would feel very safe in a room with you and Charlie. With Claire and Charlie, I would feel very safe because you're both so fucking physically strong. And the reason I say that as well is we need to also be aware of our physical, how we show up without even saying anything. Yeah. I mean, I'm a white, straight South African guy. So as soon as I go into a room and open my mouth, it creates a story.
Yeah.
It might not get spoken about.
First opinions.
Hey?
When somebody has a first opinion.
Yeah, all that stuff. Okay. Well, I didn't think we'd kick off with such a juicy topic straight away. There's no fucking around with you, Lotte. Straight into the deep end.
Can I join the call back? Can I join the call back?
Sorry?
You went
I think
You want to jump off? Go, jump off. Come back when you can, Charlie. It's fine.
Yeah, he said, can you jump off for 2 minutes? He's getting a phone call.
No problem, no problem. It's absolutely fine.
I know this gesture, even when I can't hear him.
2 minutes, 2 minutes. Yeah.
Even if I can't hear him, I know what that means.
Yeah, it would be the same as if he went like this.
I know what that means as well.
Sign language.
All right. So what's a container like when there's some laughter in here?
Much more relaxed.
Yeah.
Comfortable.
Yeah, okay. So using humor in difficult situations is a tool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Okay.
It's almost like snapping somebody out of it for a minute.
For a minute, yeah. Okay. All right. And are you lot safe in your community at the moment?
Yeah, I
We
feel
are.
so.
We are.
I
It's.
wouldn't let it. I wouldn't let it phase me. I wouldn't give them the satisfaction.
I know, but
Okay.
if you were someone with dark skin or Muslim or someone from a
It's
different
the same as
country,
us being. It's the same as when we're scared of the terrorists and we're scared of Muslims because of what the other Muslims have done.
mm, I think. I think we're. I don't know. I just think it's all just up
They
in
went
arms.
wrong. Yeah, they went about it the wrong way.
And I feel scared for people like I feel scared for Muslims. I feel scared for like black people because you don't know. I feel sorry for them. I feel sympathy because they've lived here. Like, well, there was an Indian shop, a takeaway shop. They've had that shop for 25 years. Family run business, and one of the best Indians in Hartlepool, and it got smashed up. And I just think, no.
They've worked for that, haven't they?
But they like before yesterday, that like everyone would be set aside to them in the street and whatever. But now, I don't know. They're like it's ridiculous. And the Salam Centre, the amount the Salam Centre do for the community, for people in recovery, for
It's disrespectful, isn't it?
the food bank, uh, different groups.
I think that the anger lies in the community, not with. I don't think it's put any other races at risk. Oh, sorry, breaking up. I didn't know you were still talking. Sorry,
That's
Trish.
all.
It's breaking up, and I didn't know you were still talking, darling. I just got a black screen. Oh, and I'm sorry, sweetheart.
No, it's all right. Go on, I was finished there.
I was saying, I think after yesterday's event, I don't think that the community of Hartlepool, I don't think that the Muslims or any race are at risk. I think the anger lies with the EGL who turned up. I think they're the ones who have alienated themselves.
Do you
I
think?
think it might have made, yeah, I think so, yeah. Like for me, like I just thought, what complete idiot. And my sympathies went out to the people who they targeted and the trouble that was caused, you know what I mean? So I'm hoping that most people
probably weren't even from Hartlepool. Do you know what I mean?
Weren't, apparently. They just travelled in because it was on
different towns and different cities
It's
and
in
destroyed
Middlesbrough
our.
now.
So notice the container, how we've stopped speaking one at a time. Just notice that.
Yeah, I didn't know she was still talking. My screen had got blank and I'd lost sound. I didn't know she was still talking. I apologised. I didn't realise.
No, relax, Claire. It's fine. It's fine. You were talking. Trish was talking, and Emma came in. So let's slow it down. Yeah. Just with here learning about coaching, managing the container, and learning skill sets for our organization. Yeah. Okay. So let's go back to Claire. So Claire feels that these people have alienated themselves as an organization. Yeah.
Most definitely. My feeling was just what a bunch of fun was my feeling, you know, pardon me swears. And I'm hoping
it's more than welcome.
Or the people who I've talked to today are feeling the same way. So I don't think that the minorities who were targeted have been put at risk. I think what they've done is just alienate themselves and maybe garnered some sympathy for those communities that they went out to attack.
Okay.
So I'm hoping that those people haven't had an increase in risk to their safety because of the actions. I think what might have happened, hopefully, is people be less tolerant to groups like that turning up in their towns from now on, and hopefully the police will do something about it next time with high insight and not allow it to progress that far. Although I was told that the police dogs did have a good go at a couple of them. So that's
I've seen a few videos.
Good enough for them.
So let us know when you're finished, Claire.
Yeah.
Okay. Emma, you wanted to say something? We'll go Emma, Tricia, Charlie.
Well, it's happening in Middlesbrough now, but I walked up Murray Street this morning and I went into a shop and all the locals were talking about it, and I knew some of them lived on Murray Street because I seen her come out and out of a home. And she was saying how scared she was, and this is a little elderly lady who didn't dare come out of flat for all day yesterday. And they were just saying how ridiculous it was, and that, to begin with, they didn't even know why the people were doing it. You know, so the message wasn't getting across at all, and it scared the community within that street. So, but yeah, I just think it ended up as a mob. Pitchforks and that. But yeah, I just think it's getting out of hand. It needs to be grounded a bit. But yeah, that's my view. Finished.
Thank you.
I just think, personally, I think that, yeah, the EDL, when even from Hartlepool, they have no right to be here destroying our town. Yeah, I understand the concerns, but their concerns are different to ours. Our concerns are like immigrants coming in, hurting our people, hurting our children, getting our money. Like our cost of living is up the roof. You can't get a doctor's appointment, things like that. I get it, but then you've got, like, for example, you've got the Indians I've just been on about there, who have paid the way all their lives. So I just to me, it's just not fair. I think the wrong people are trying to do something about it. It should be the people higher up who should be standing up for our country, not Joe Public. That's my opinion.
Round of applause, Annie.
Are you done, Tricia?
Yeah, I'm done, yeah.
Okay. Charlie?
What's the question?
I don't know.
Where have you been?
What's the question?
So where the container got is it got quite heated. Everyone started talking. So I said, whoa, that stopped, try and bring it down. And then we went with Claire to Emma to Tricia just to talk about this. Yeah. And that's kind of where we're at the moment. Just from a training perspective, we're here to learn about coaching skills and creating containers in your organizations to be able to have robust conversations. And this is a very robust conversation that we're trying to navigate through with all its complexities.
Yeah, I must admit, I am very disillusioned. I'm very disillusioned with the UK in a whole. I think what happened, man, them last night was just it was just thugs. That's basically what it was. It was just man thugs in disguise of protesters. But I do come from a very disillusioned mind. That I come from a very disillusioned mind that there's a lot of things that we're not seeing. I don't even think, and there's a lot of things that we are supposed to see so that hatred can avail. That's what I even think. So, and they're showing stuff in the media that are going to get people's back up. That's what I think. They are showing things that are going to ignite that fuse. And I just think the bigger picture is that it comes from way above. And I do think the UK, especially places like Middlesbrough and Hartlepool and even Townsman in Scotland, but it's just poverty. There's so much poverty and disturbance, and it can be fixed. It can all be fixed, but the governments who run our country choose not to fix it, and that's what I think. I Yeah, I'll just leave it there.
What's the feeling in the container?
I totally agree with Charlie.
I do.
Yeah.
So there's a feeling of consensus. Yeah, that means we're all on the same page here.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, okay. All right.
Are we still here?
I'm still here. Are you still
I'm
there?
still here.
Absolutely, yeah.
Yep, I'm still here.
Claire Cooper's stuck.
I'm going to have a little break though.
All right.
Yes.
So,
I'll be
all
back,
right. Do you-
back in a minute.
do you- okay, well let's take a little
Yeah.
break. Yeah.
Yeah.
And let's just let this conversation percolate for a bit. And
My
we'll
screen
see.
is completely black. My screen. I can't see no one. Oh, there we go.
I was going to say,
Okay.
I can see you, Claire.
Yeah, I can see it.
All right, so let's come back in 10 minutes. Yeah, let's come back at 3 o'clock.
Yeah.
Okay then.
All right.
All
Okay.
right then. See you in a bit.
You know how you turn it off.
I don't.
Charlie, how do I get off? Should we just stay? Should we just stay in case we can't get back on?
Yeah.
Yeah. Just stay. Just mute yourself and switch the video off if you want.
Oh, there we
Oh,
go.
okay. Okay. You say that like I have a clue.
I've done it, I think.
So Trisha switched her video off but left her sound on.
All right, all right.
Anyone, how do
There
I
you
do
go.
this?
Trisha's video's off and she's muted. So Claire, I'll walk you through it. There you go. You're muted and your video's off. Well done, Claire. All right. I'll do the same. Hello, Emma.
Hello.
Here comes Katie.
I have. Had to run the loo and then everybody was gone.
Yeah, we took a break.
So I made a cuppa.
You made a cuppa, that's good. Here comes Katie. Where's Katie?
Hello.
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 Are you from Raw, Katie?
Hello, nice to see you. I am, yes.
Great
Yes.
stuff.
I'm
Right.
the Raw coordinator. Yeah.
The Raw coordinator, the volunteer coordinator.
Volunteer coordinator.
And how many
Yes,
volunteers?
that is correct.
And how
Nice
many
to meet you.
volunteers do you have?
25 at the moment.
Great. Okay, cool. All right.
Sorry, my internet's a little bit glitchy today, so apologies.
That's absolutely fine. So just to catch you up, first of all, let me start by saying very nice to meet you. I think this is the second time
Nice to
we've
meet
met.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, okay.
Yes.
So everyone else on this call, they did the 3-day intensive last week. They're from Hartlepool, and I'll be going down to where are you, Kent?
Yes. Yes.
I'll
Yes.
be going down to do the 3-day intensive with Katie and her organization in a couple of months' time. Yeah. So this is the 10-week systemic wellness practitioners training. Yeah. And people can do it before the 3-day or after the 3-day. And as far as Raw is concerned, James and Emma, or Lisa. It's Lisa, isn't it? Was it Emma?
I'm Emma.
No.
Two women.
At
Lisa.
Raw. Lisa, that's right. Oh, here comes Sohan. Great.
Yeah, it's Lisa.
Okay, good. All right. So they're doing the 10 weeks to prepare for the volunteers. Yeah. Okay. So I think in terms of introduction, yeah, why don't we whip around the room? Hello, Sohan, welcome. Great to see you, Sohan. Can you hear us? Can you hear us, Sohan? I don't know if Sohan can hear us.
I love that when you're completely stuck.
All right.
Don't need to see technology.
Sohan, are you there?
Hi, David.
Yay!
Hey.
Oh, fuck. Am I pleased to see you, Sohan? Good. Cool.
You
All
too,
right,
David.
so we're just going to do introductions for the container. Yeah. So Charlie, why don't you start?
My name is Charlie. We run a group called the Blueberry Health and Wellbeing, and we're a wellness group where we go back to nature. We take people in meditations, sea dipping, strength training, walking on the beach, with the sunrise and the sunset. And we do some work with Hartlepool in the recovery setting, where we try and come from a recovery point of view through alternative, so like meditation and wellness. That's where I come from.
Thanks, Charlie. Claire?
Hello, I'm Claire, also Blueberry Health and Wellbeing. I don't know if that was breaking up there, like it was for me when Charlie was talking, but yeah. But we are a health and wellbeing group. We work with local social prescribers and people throughout the community. We broach many different areas of recovery, and we do it in a holistic approach. We will address the physicality, spiritual well-being, I suppose you could say, but that's like a strong word to some people. Just a wellness within yourself through meditation, and we promote communication with others and learning to listen to yourself. We have a whole approach to it. We do it in a setting that is near open water, and we very much enjoy what we do.
Thank you, Claire. Okay, Emma, would you like to introduce yourself and your organisation?
Yeah, my name's Emma, and we are I am training with Recovery Connections at the moment. We're working alongside Hartlepool Smart Recovery as well. Yeah, we're doing safeguarding at the moment, and obviously the coaching, and looking forward to the future.
Cool. Tricia?
Hey, I'm Tricia. Yeah, looking to volunteer with Recovery Connections, getting out there, trying to help people with lived experience myself, hopefully, and have a big influence on them, and looking to get as much experience as I can, hence the reason I'm doing this. And be safeguarding and start my MVQ. So yeah, looking forward to the future. That's me, thanks.
Fantastic. Sohan, would you like to introduce back in?
Yes, David, thank you. Yeah. I'm a co-founder of a Lero that's based in Nottingham called Back In. Back In stands for Black and Asian Cultural Identification of Narcotics. And we've been going for nearly 21 years now. And we specialize in supporting people from the ethnic minority communities, families. We do work in the communities, we do work in prisons, we're involved in research, lots of work around addictions. We're a peer-led organization, lived experience-led organization, and we're doing some good work across the country now.
Thank you, Sohan. Katie, would you like to introduce your organisation and your role?
Yes, of course. I'm the coordinator for RAW, which is a lived experience recovery organisation like Sohan in Kent. We're quite new. We've only been going a year, but we've already built up quite a big following. We've got 25 volunteers so far, and we all have our own lived experience and are just setting up different pathways for people who perhaps don't want to go down the perceived original route for recovery. We have a lot of events as we are just starting out, but we also have a lot of places that we're already quite established in. So yeah, exciting times. It's growing. Thank you.
Fantastic. Lisa, are you there?
Yes, I'm here. I'm Lisa. I'm the chair of RAW, which is the organisation Katie's just declared to you. So yeah, lived experience recovery organisation in Kent. Thank you.
Thank you. Are you ill? Have you got the flu?
I'm feeling pretty rubbish, yes, but
So Lisa, do whatever you need to look after yourself. Yeah. If it's too much being on this call or whatever, please just look after yourself. Okay, just so everyone knows, I'm recording this to an unlisted YouTube class. Is everyone okay with that? If it gets a bit sensitive or something, at any time, just tell me to stop the recording and I will. The reason we're doing it is for evidence, for research, for the improvement of this. and to continuously develop the role of the professional recovery coach. Okay, and this part of the training is to take the coaching skills to help you as individuals in your organization, so your organizations can improve. And the first half of this container, we were speaking about the riots that have gone off in Hartlepool, which are basically born in racism, and what's kind of happening there. So we've had quite a robust discussion around that, yeah. So here comes James. So that's kind of where we're at. One of the challenges that the UK faces is the service users in the UK are mostly white. Yeah. Hello, James. How are you, mate?
I'm good, thanks, David. Sorry I'm late.
That's fine. That's fine. Would you like to check in?
Yeah, I am, as always, knackered, but I'm feeling quite positive about things generally. So, yeah.
Good stuff. So just to let you know, we're recording this in an unlisted YouTube stream, and at any time you feel uncomfortable or something, I can stop it. But we're just recording it for research purposes to try to continuously improve organizations and the role of professional recovery coaches. Okay. And the first, I've just done the 3 days intensive with the Hartlepool community, and then last night there's a whole lot of riots that went off there, and we just spent the past hour talking about that sort of stuff, and this is where we are now. So yeah. So Sohan, we would love to hear from you, if you're up for it. Are you there, Sohan?
I am, yeah. Can you hear me, David?
Yeah.
Turn this off.
Yeah, I would love to hear from you if you're okay with that, just because it feels as if there's a fucking cake that's going to go off, yeah, or it is already kicking off, and yeah. So I'm not sure where to go or what to do with this stuff. I just know that it's a fuck up.
Sorry, David. Some Wi-Fi issues. Can you hear us?
Yeah, we can.
Yeah. So is it? Was you talking about the loss of the 3 children recently?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. It's for me. It's a very sad and shocking time, and we was only thinking about what it means to be British values and wanting to live safe in this country. I came here many years ago, and my family did as well. We got good opportunity, to live in the way that we're living safe, and we've always kind of respected the space that we living in, and got lots of good friendships across cultures. But at the moment, there's lots of anxieties with what's going on, the speculations, and with different races, and it's a very challenging time. And I remember, a few years ago, back in was it in 9/11, and how that caused so many problems, mistaken identities, and people wanting to take out their resentments, and people attacking wrong cultures that are not perhaps were responsible, and those are the anxieties I'm talking to people. Those are the anxieties people are having. There's a lot of fear in the country. People want to be safe. They want to live safe. They want to walk down their streets safe, because they built loads of good relationships with their neighbours, from the white British communities and that. But there seems to be lots of sort of unease at the moment, and in particularly, you know, with us as an organisation, as an ethnic minority organisation, as a Lero, as one of the leading Leros in Great Britain. You know, we're open to supporting all communities. Our primary purpose is to help people find freedom from addiction. Doesn't matter what communities they're from, you know, white, British, ethnic minorities, but we specialize in ethnic minority communities and that because there's no representation. And I'm not as fearful as a lot of the people that I speak to, but they are kind of mourning and grieving, you know, for the families, you know, that's lost the children. Because I got children, my grandchildren, you know, my grandchildren are half English, and you know, my ex-partner's English, and you know, but all of that matters. But what's happening? It's not acceptable. There's things happening across the country, and I realize people are angry. It's a justified anger, but it's all the misinformation and the propaganda from the media that's going around. You know, the people that are angry, these are white British men, families, mothers, you know what I mean? But the men are really, really angry because they're sick and tired of what's happening in their country. And you know, to protest or to speak against what's happening, or to have an opinion, it's a very, very tricky time because of how you may be labelled, you know, which side your community or those with stronger voices will label you and put you in. It's a human thing that's happening. You know, people are suffering, and as a community, as a whole society, there's a lot of pain. It's like England is hurting at the moment. You know, other places are hurting. Palestine is hurting, and children dying there every day. Other countries, you know, things are happening all over the world. But here, you know, when it comes closer to home, you kind of start to feel it. You know, the pain that's kind of permeating through the country. But I just want to speak about the anger, David, you know, the hurt and the anger. People have a right to be angry. They have a right to speak out there. They have a right to sort of go to Parliament to speak about their anger and not to be called this label, that label, that label, this label, far right and all of this, or racist and all of that. This kind of stupidity, right, yeah, is not helping the grieving. And then the police giving, you know, information, limited information, and other kind of political commentators, you know, having their 2 pence worth, and that, you know, is, you know, we're a community, we're British people, and we want to get on. I mean, rather than, you know, we need to allow those who are grieving to grieve, not to be pigeonholed or bracketed or put into a certain sort of label. And I feel for them because, like I said, you know, a lot of our sort of people that we support are from the white British community as well. For me, it's not about that because recovery transcends all of that. You know, we want freedom from addiction. We want to support people, communities to find that freedom. That's our primary purpose, and to live together as the best as we can to get on with each other. And I live in a good community here, you know what I mean? The local shops, our neighbours, we get on. But there's anxiety, there's fear. You know, it's almost like you can't grieve, you can't speak. It's like a suffocation going on, especially with what's going on social media, on the fake media, like they call it, you know, on our national news, and that. There's loads of misinformation coming from our institutions, and it's not on. And I particularly can't speak about it because how people in my community will label me, and that's sad. That's really, really sad when when you have to limit your voice and your thoughts, not your opinions, but your thoughts, your heartfelt thoughts about what you see and how you want to be part of that, how you want to support the grief, you know, how you want to support members of the community who are really hurting at the moment, you know, be it through the grief directly or they're angry because of what's happening in their country. I said a lot there, David, yeah, but I'm feeling it. You know, I'm feeling for my brothers and sisters, you know what I mean, living in this country. I really am.
Thank you so much for that, Sohan. Charlie, how does that land with you, hearing Sohan's?
It lands absolutely beautifully. If I'm honest, I could not have said anything any better than what Sohan has just said. I reiterate every single word that he said, and it landed in my heart actually with everything that he was saying. As a white British male who has felt, and from a long time, and that my thoughts have been impeded, and never mind just my words. And yeah, I think everything that you said there was there's a bigger picture, and I think like the media plays a lot on this, and by boxing everything off, everything needs to be characterized. It needs to be far right, far left, black, white, Asian, Muslim, Christian, and life isn't like that. Life isn't like that at all. It's never black and white. And Britain is a great country. It's diverse. We're very accepting of the other cultures and the beliefs and everything else. And there is a lot of anxiety in the Simon country the moment. I'm feeling it as well, and I just don't think it's helped by an appalling media that we've got, that kind of caricatures just about everything, and highlights a minority instead of the great work that's actually been done in the UK, like Emin Sohan's organisation. So Emma, thank you, Sohan. That was absolutely beautiful what you said there, brother.
So just to bring it back to addiction recovery, and mental health, is that at its core, it's been a diversity issue. People that have been using substances have been jailed, have been, discriminated against, had their kids taken away. My kids were taken away because of things like that. And to get out of that, to recover from that, I've needed to kind of find my voice that was oppressed for many years. Does that make sense? So there is an external oppression, and then there's an internal oppression. There's something that kept me small and didn't let me step into my leadership and to go out there. Yeah. So the way that plays out in my organization is I shy away from leadership. Yeah. And when racism comes into it, because I carry a lot of white guilt, being a white South African male, and because of my ancestors, I often struggle to hold people to account to shoddy work because of me going, oh, I don't want to hurt their feelings and all this and all that. And that doesn't serve anyone. It's patronizing, and it doesn't help the organization and for the people that we're trying to serve and help. So, and just to put some context on it, the organization I'm referring to is my clinic in Johannesburg, which is now run by 2 Muslim women. Yeah, and the majority of the clientele are kind of white South Africans. And that in itself had its own kind of challenges. But the South African context is very different to the UK context. But it's such a juicy topic, this. And James and Lisa, I mean, I know this is your second class coming here together, and the first one felt like marriage guidance or something, and now we're in another big heavy topic. So, and Katie, I mean, I met you under horrible circumstances as well. There was a death in Raw, and I hope it's okay to talk about that. But I read your newsletter, and your newsletter went out to the public, so I'm just assuming it's okay to talk about that.
Yes, absolutely.
Do you want to give a bit of history to the rest of the container, just so people can know what happened?
Yeah, do you want? Yeah. I'm just seeing if Lisa or James want to do it, or
feel free, Katie.
Okay, thank you. One of our volunteers sadly passed away, and we believe it was through her drugs being contaminated with nitazines. She had been doing pretty well, but as sometimes these things happen, she used again, and sadly she passed away. A very big part of our local community. Her partner still volunteers for us and actually works for Forward Trust as well, which is part of. So it's been quite a difficult time to come to terms with that. Lisa, and I'm sure she won't mind me saying, actually found her. So obviously there was a lot of trauma for her there. But what I've found, and I think what links into what Zoran was saying about how kind of recovery transcends all of this stuff. We've come together as a community much stronger and more determined to do some good. And it doesn't matter what background we come from, what we identify as, or any of that, because recovery transcends it. Yeah.
Thank you so much for that, Katie. And the reason I just wanted to put a lens on that is we deal with big fucking topics here. This isn't for the faint-hearted, this stuff. This is what we're dealing with. And I think Leros and people in recovery or have this stuff are the people that are going to fucking come up with the solutions to these sort of things. I mean, the one thing I love about addiction is it doesn't discriminate. The pain that families feel and that they go through is the same, regardless from where they are in the world. Yeah. Some people have bigger hurdles to come over in recovery, but the common pain in the family is the same. The anxiety, the fear, the shame, the stigma. Oh, let me just take a breath. I can feel myself getting fucking passionate about this. I just calm down, David. Step away. All right. Does anyone want to chip in? Does anyone want to come in?
I have to agree with everything that's been said. It's just so disheartening how, everything that happened here yesterday, it's probably not going to make any difference. It won't be heard because the people that weren't even from Hartlepool have come in and totally destroyed what it was about. It was our town that was supposed to be speaking for our town, and then it's just all boiled down to racism, and that's not what it's about. It's really annoyed me.
So what does your anger want to say, Tricia?
It wants to say that everyone's blood's red. There's only one race, and that's the human race. And you're entitled to have different beliefs, so long as they're not evil beliefs. I think everyone's entitled to their own beliefs and should have a voice and should do it sensibly and not act like complete idiots, like it was what has happened here yesterday. And now there's people walking around Hartlepool who have been here all their lives in fear because of the colour of the skin.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just heartbreaking. For me, personally, well, probably for everyone, it's just heartbreaking.
So I think that's it's great that your heart's broken.
Yeah.
Imagine if you didn't feel it. So I love your compassion with your anger. It's like, fuck.
Yeah. Just sad.
think Sohan wants to come in again.
Yeah, Tricia, it really is sad because we're seeing the images of the cleanup and all the upheaval, that was taking place. It's your neighborhood, you know what I mean, and it's been trashed. So we're just looking at that, if that was happening on my street in my neighborhood, how would I feel and how would I react? And but what I'm really exploring, and trying to understand is there's so many sort of views of the people that came in, for different reasons, and no one really knows, what's in the heart of several hundred people or maybe more, but it's the projection, I think, that's being conveyed, like hooligans and people not so illiterate, and all sorts of labels are being put on. We don't really know, but all we know, people are hurting and they're angry, and this is not the way to behave. There's other ways they can find to behave, you know what I mean, to have their points kind of acknowledged and recorded, and make something more productive come out of it. It just seemed very, very chaotic, maybe misplaced emotions and that. And there's a lot going on, but there's lots of misframing that's going on. That's my only worry, how far that misframing will go on, based on sort of political assumptions, all the stuff and that, what I mean, what's really in people's heart. And I don't think we're in a place to understand, what's going on. But sometimes the rioting, the anger comes out, then we attack the environment. We don't, become careless, and it just comes out. It's so released. It's not the way to do it, but it's kind of happening across the country at the moment. We're hearing all sorts of sort of reports in different places, but it's like England, Britain has become very oppressive. It has because people don't speak about how they feel here, especially the men. The men that I've supported over the years, they find it very, very difficult. So it's like a pent-up anger, it's like a pent-up fear, and it's just coming out, it's spilling out now like crazy. It's almost like the lid's been taken off. And I know there's lots of things happening in pockets of the country where the British, the English are saying they want their country back, their country's being taken over, and lots of things happening. And, you hear all of that, and you want to hear people because you want to try and understand and make sense of what's happening. And if you're in a position to support them in a way so they can see better, it's a bit like addiction, One of the things I learned through recovery, we cannot judge anybody, no matter what political affiliation they have, what kind of ideology they have. Because for me, I can't judge anybody, whether they're far left or whatever, political persuasions and that, or they're far right, or they're racist, or they're not racist, or they're victims. They're going to come in all sorts of harms and experiences and that. And we got to accept them as human beings and support them and help them navigate them, through their journey of recovery to wellness. Can I judge? Can I say, I can't support you because you're far right, you're racist, you're this, you're that, you're all of this. We don't, it's not in us. Yeah. It's not in the heart of my recovery. But what I do want to say, right, yeah, we just got to we have to be honest with ourselves, and that, we want to be good, but we have to be honest, like what is happening in our country. Realistically, honestly, if we was to speak honestly and sincerely with a hand on our heart, without any recrimination, without being cancelled, without being sort of muted, what would we really say? That's the kind of conversation I would want to have. And I think that's what we desperately need.
So a space of a robust container. Being attacked by a bee. James, did you want to come in there?
To my shame, I don't really follow the news, and I didn't. So I've just been googling all of this, and know any of this was going on, and maybe that's interesting what Charlie was saying about how the media are spinning everything. I don't know whether it's better to be ignorant of everything, or but it is sad, and it's really, really difficult. I'm just thinking as a Lero, we're not political, we're here to support people, whoever they are. But there's always that kind of, but I want to be political, there's, I mean, we were talking, we kind of had a brief conversation with the commissioners in Kent about safe consumption rooms, and the thing is actually that the political landscape isn't right for that at the moment. It's like, but where's the line between us being a kind of neutral, non-political organization, but then wanting to campaign for something that we believe in, so I wanted to say that, and I also want to say I found it really interesting the way, David, you were talking about your kind of the external stigma and the internal shame, I guess, and how that still affects you today and how you run your organization. And I guess it's something to be aware of. For us, we're very new, we're starting out, and it's like, how can we be strong? Lisa's always talked to me about governance, and I think, governance here, you got to get everyone's view. It's got to be a kind of a collective, in everything that we do. So yeah.
So to your point of safe consumption rooms and it being political, underneath that there's going to be the diversity issue of it, of people saying not on our doorstep. Yeah, you must help those junkies, but not here. They must go somewhere else. There must be, yeah. So that's going to be the stigma side of it. You can't have those fucking drug addicts taking drugs here. What the? Is everyone all right with my language? I know my language is politically incorrect. It's meant to be. Yeah.
Good.
I can identify as a fucking junkie because I am one, or was one. Lisa, you got your hand.
Yeah, I think I sort of echo what James has said, to be honest. I don't watch the news either. I actively don't, I avoid it, to be honest, because it's all negative crap most of the time. But I do think, like we say about political, like James has just mentioned, we've obviously spoken about the safe drug, consumption places. But just because people don't agree with it doesn't mean we shouldn't fight for it. And I suppose that's the same, like, that's where you just have to keep, you need to be assured in what you're trying to do is for the right reasons, and then just do it, kind of thing. That's sort of where I feel with it, to be honest with you. Just because it's difficult, so Aaron can probably relate to this, that doesn't mean we shouldn't try and do it.
Absolutely. And there is an activist that lives inside me that I've had to learn how to manage in a way for political intelligence to build relationships with others. So, for example, building relationships with the police, who used to be the oppressor, was quite a stretch for me emotionally, because I had to kind of listen to the enemy. And when I actually did do that, and I did take time to listen, I found a place of compassion and kind of understanding that, they just fucking didn't know any different. Is that making sense? It should make sense. It's pretty straightforward. And just when I do say, does that make sense? It's my anxiety. It's not to like fucking say, do you understand? Yeah, it's more like, yeah, are you in agreement?
Yeah.
David, can I say something about the internal and external oppression?
Please.
So what I wanted to kind of share was the external, the systemic oppression, and then how that affects my personal oppression. We, as an ethnic organization, we're caught up in the system. Every time we challenge the system or systemic injustices, we are demonized. We are sidelined. Like I said, we're approaching 21 years, one of the longest going Leros in the country. And we've done some really, really phenomenal work with the hard to reach, so-called hard to reach, underserved, very often ignored communities. These are the labels that are out there. But when it comes to, for me, what it comes down to is that honest conversation. Can we have an honest conversation with people in policy? We've had honest conversations, very little change. We've been into parliament, we've had honest conversations with commissioners, but they don't want to engage in that two-way honest conversation. Because without that honest conversation, they cannot get a clear picture of what's happening in their health populations. They don't really know how to engage in the communities and then to gather the information that's needed for services to change. Because we say our service is open to all communities. But if we look at the footfall across the country, if you look at people in terms of people of color, I don't want to use that term, but we've got very little of them coming into our mainstream services across the country.
What term would you like to use?
I don't know. I'm kind of struggling with that at the moment. I don't want to use black and ethnic minorities. I don't want to use minorities. I don't want to use black and brown. I could use diverse cultures. Diverse racial groups and even that. And I'm thinking, whose language am I using? Is it my language? Are they my thoughts? Even the term racism, I very rarely use it. But I know there's patterns in the system that we see that are going on. But it's not how I want to frame my vocabulary. It's not what I want to articulate and associate myself with. But I'm having to because of we need language for common understanding. But kind of coming back to the systemic stigma, we are stigmatized. Whether we speak about the challenges, the underrepresentation, the gaps in the services, it's like the elephant in the room. If you see it, we're honest. Our LERA is based on principles of recovery. That's weird. That's a weird thing to say. We see as a LERA as an organic entity that is growing and evolving with our participation and our contributions into it. Yeah. If we're working from the heart and intuition, the organization, the LERA is shaped by that heart, by that intuition, by that compassion, by that love, by that unconditional acceptance. And we are being stigmatized, and we are working in a different way that could benefit every community, every community across Great Britain. We feel like in 21 years we've learned something. You can't ignore that. There's been growth, there's been evolution, there's a way of working that we have learned, evolved and grown into. And it's working from the heart, it's working with love, it's working with compassion. We can do that. That doesn't only belong to ethnic minority communities, it belongs to the whole of humanity. And it's a shame that we are being stigmatized, by our local partners, treatment providers. They kind of push, because we're working in recovery, abstinence-based recovery, very clear, faith-based recovery and spirituality, recovery and culture, because this is broad, this is deep, and this is how we are working to get people well. But also wanted to talk about, the racial trauma, for example, the racial oppression that comes along with people's active addictions when they come to our service. But it also forms a bigger counseling, a therapeutic journey, part of their recovery and wellness. the trauma that results from that, the trust building, wanting to be part of this society. But how can you be part of this society when at once upon a time in your life, you was bullied because of your race, because of your color, and that escalated your addiction because you had to use more to suppress the feelings, and the mistrust and the anxiety that you felt, walking amongst your communities because of fear of being attacked again. And we're doing some really grand here. You'd have thought our commissioners, our local partners would say, come on, guys. Back in, UK is struggling. Let me just say this final point, David. UK is struggling in terms of engaging with ethnic minority populations. I can say this, the problem in our communities with drugs and alcohol is increasing by the day. The untreated addiction and trauma is getting amplified by the day. The problem is causing into domestic violence, into family breakups, into hospital admissions. It's a nightmare that we are waiting to happen, in the coming months and years. And we have a solution here, and we speak about that openly. For they'll be knocking on our door, say, how can we make things better? How can we make recovery really more inclusive? How can we make treatment more inclusive? How can we embrace other approaches to recovery rather than the approaches to recovery that's mainstreamed? I don't make no sense to me, but what it does to my oppression, right? Yeah, you know what I mean? It, some days I'm thinking, why am I bothering? You know what I mean? And we need the funding, we need the resources, so I can pay the staff, pay for the accommodation and the rent, so we can reach more and more people. And that's the kind of battle we're having in Nottingham. But what's happening in Nottingham is happening across the country. But what's happening across the country is another systemic oppression, stigma, is the tokenizing. We'll do a pilot project here and then tick a box, diversity, inclusion, and EDI, all of that kind of stuff. But it doesn't last long. It doesn't kind of go deep into the problem. It's just a very superficial, like a patch. And these are the things we're battling with, and it's a headache. Some days it's a headache. On top of that, you got to support the community, then you got to fundraise, then you got to run the organization, then you got to manage your staff, then you got to lead. Money from hats are got to wear. If we were large in numbers and resources, we'll have a big impact across the country. But there's an issue going on from the commissioning, from policy, from design, from the treatment system itself, that seems to be, we feel oppressed by. Every time we want to engage in a conversation, work in partnership, do some collaboration, and we want to have honest conversation, things stop. People don't have honest conversations. If the system is to change, we need to have them hard-hitting conversations, even get upset by it, you know what I mean? Because the communities that are left abandoned, the pain they feel is different. Professionals, this power, and authority and accountability, for them because of honest conversations, because of their own inadequacies, their own failures. The system isn't working, hasn't been working for 30 years since I've been around.
Can I come in? Go ahead.
Just one commissioner to come to the table, have a conversation, say, okay, let's look at what you guys do with it. One treatment provider. Rather than pinching our ideas, have a conversation with us, see how we can work together. We get a lot of that. You got your big addiction charities pinching ideas and then doing a watered down version of what we're doing in their city. It don't effing work. It's very short-lived. You can't replicate a Lero. It's impossible if that's what they're trying to do. Just pick somebody random, with a black and brown face and that. Okay, you run that. 6 months into it, we can say we're a Lero. No, you're not. It's organic. It's from the community. It's from the heart. It's spontaneous. It's organic. And we don't even get recognition as a Lero in Nottingham, David, by our commissioners. But we do across the country, across Great Britain. So that stigma, systemic stigma, I feel it on a daily basis. And I deal with it, what I mean? If I don't deal with it and talk about it and trying to transcend it, what I mean? That would affect my recovery. My wellness will be compromised. I will get sick. I don't want to lose my recovery.
How's this container doing in supporting you as a leader, Sohan?
Absolutely. It's just made me more adamant to keep going and try and get out there and speak to the big people who don't want to listen.
Thanks for that, Trisha. I just wanted to
Thank you.
just check with Sohan, like, how is the container supportive for Sohan in his leadership of his Lero? Is this supportive to you, Sohan? If so, how?
I think the space is where I can kind of share my thoughts, not feel restricted and limited into what I can share. Some spaces I won't even have this ability to articulate, because I'll be like watching and thinking, okay, I don't want to get it wrong, or that person might get upset. I don't want to get too passionate because people got a way of labeling you, you know what I mean? But here, it seems easy. It seems easy here. And
sorry,
just to have the,
what's the label you're scared of being labeled with?
It's what they call the usual suspects. Like, here we go again, you know what I mean? And anybody that knows me, you know what I mean? I got a passion for recovery, the underdog. I've been an underdog all my life, you know what I mean? All the way through my childhood, and I resonate with them and I connect with them. Doesn't matter who you are, you know what I mean? I'll do what I can to support you. And I think for me the label is not as I don't know, like troublemaker, like like too rebellious, too angry, too fierce. I've had that label already. You're too fierce, you're too angry. No, I'm not too fierce and I'm too angry. I just have a very, very strong way of wanting to put my point across. Because if I speak softly and gently, very, very gently, no one's going to hear me. So when I speak from the heart, and that from the heart is the force that's behind my voice. People construe as angry, oh, you're too angry and that, you know what I mean? And too emotional. And how do they want me to speak?
The angry Asian man from Nottingham.
A Nottingham Asian man and an addict and an ex-offender. You know what I mean?
There we go.
And a single parent and all of that.
Okay,
you know
cool.
Not paid his
welcome to the club, mate. Welcome.
And irresponsible.
Oh. Notice how Sohan's smiling now. Right. Well, what a fucking exciting hour that was.
That's probably the longest I've ever been quiet in my life, mate.
So what did you learn today, Claire? What's your takeaway?
I mean, there was a lot said, wasn't there? I mean, what I recognised was, regardless of where you're from, what background, however you might identify it as what group, however you choose, we all face the same systemic problems and oppression and prejudgments due to our previous addiction problems. We are not taken seriously. And was it the lady from Raw who was saying about the other gentleman? Sorry. I've had a long morning. James, yeah, about the containers for people to use safely. Described.
Yeah. Consumption rooms.
Consumption rooms. That's it. And how you're going to meet a lot of problems from the local community. I say, fuck it, do it. Yeah. And when the local community see the local crime rates dropping because of them, now you've got an argument. But they have to go somewhere and they have to start at some time. So if this is something you have influence on or a delegating for, I say go for it. Do it. Fuck the system.
Right. So it sounds like you've got a couple of allies up there, and I've seen Claire and Charlie. You don't want to fuck with them. They're both built like shit houses. Charlie, what have you learned? What's your takeaway?
I learned that the container is very passionate about recovery. I've learned a lot from what Sohan was saying, and it was it was lovely to hear him and Sohan speak actually. Because I have, you know, I have been on the far right hooligan side of things, and I probably think this is the first time that I've heard someone speak the way that they've spoke, and it was lovely to hear actually, because it was the same sort of words are in my heart actually, about how for a long time I've been scared to think, never mind speak, and that we are speaking from the same language, and that is the language of recovery. So it was beautiful to hear that actually, and I'll take a lot from what Sohan has actually said. Yeah, just loads of passion in the room, which I love.
Thank you, Charlie. Trisha?
Yeah, I'm pretty much the same. I just think the passion's unbelievable, and I just can't wait to get through what I'm doing now, so I can be out there doing the likes of what Sohan's doing and stuff, and what Claire said, fuck the system. Let's get something done about it. Definitely.
Thank you. Emma?
Yeah, I just don't understand why we can't bring all these passions together, because all we want is the same thing ultimately, is to live safe and be happy and listen to each other's point of views. And why can't we all come together as an umbrella cooperation or something and just, you know, listen to each other's views and value each other's opinions? But yeah, I've learned a lot, and yeah, I'm just excited, and I love hearing different people's opinions and, you know, from different aspects. So yeah, I've learned quite a bit. But yeah, that's me.
Sohan?
Yeah,
What's your-
the honesty and the space for us to talk about, the recent tragedy. We've lost some beautiful children, and to have a space to kind of give a thought, and that they're our children, they're everybody's children, and to have a space to speak about that here, and just to share our thoughts, and just kind of heart goes out. But what's really beautiful about this space is, David, you made space here today for us to share a thought, and to share how we truly feel and what's on our minds, and I kind of treasure that here, because otherwise you kind of get on with your day, your life's too busy, but you never give a thought, but you do privately in your own mind and heart, but here to share it. Yeah, appreciate the space.
Thanks, Sohan. Katie, welcome again. What's your takeaway today?
Thank you, and thank you everyone for welcoming me. Yeah, something you said resonated with me. The thing about not always wanting to speak out, not wanting to upset people, because that's who I've been. And I'm learning, I'm learning to do that more, but actually a little bit different from everyone else. The whole fuck the system. I can't do there a little bit, but I find, and I think I have to find what I do best, and I find talking to one person, no matter who they are, if I can help them from those little seeds, I think is where the good stuff can grow. Where you build that small community of person to person, and then bringing that up from the ground. That's where I see my little bit laying, and I think it's important we have both sides of the coin. The trailblazers, and then the ones that are there and jigging along. So that's my take from today.
Thank you. Jay? James?
Yeah. You're right, this Betty. We'll all have our different approaches and different ways of being, but are in what we're doing with Lero's, you know, there's a common thread that does bind us all. So I really enjoy this space, David. I feel that it's like it transforms my day, and I'm like, and I come in here, and it's like, it's really great, and it's been really thought provoking, and yeah, it's good to hear what everyone's had to say. So thank you,
James.
And Lisa.
Hello. Yeah, I think it just highlights the passion and the reason why we're involved in the lived experience thing. I think I've said it loads of times. It's like it just always feels like it's a tick box exercise, and you know we've got to be passionate to do this stuff and to to try and achieve and make things better. Yeah, it's just an uphill struggle, isn't it? But I think we know it, but we just got to keep fighting it.
Thank you, Lisa. All right. So Katie, just so you know, this class starts at 2:00, and if you've got the time and you're able to, you're welcome to join at 2:00. Yeah, that goes for everyone. I check out. So I feel very relieved. James said he enjoys this space because I was carrying some performance anxiety, thinking, "Oh fuck, I hope I'm not sitting James." So that settled me, James. Thank you. And so Hannah, I just really appreciate you bringing your perspective and being the brown man in the room. And I don't want you to feel set up that you've got to be the brown guy that fucking teaches the white people about fucking how hard it is in your world. Yeah. So help guide me on that. Yeah. But I really do value your voice and fuck, I want to get this stuff out here. And I think it's great. We've got 4 Leros here. You know, we've got the blueberries. Yeah. We got recovery connections. We've got raw and we've got back in. So fucking great, people. Thank you all very much. I will see you next week.
Thanks,
See you later,
David.
guys. Bye-bye.
To meet you all.
Thank you
Thanks a
very
lot,
much.
Charlie.
Lovely to see you.
Take
Thank
care,
you.
Sohan. Take care,
Take care,
James.
David.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Take
Bye.
care.
Thanks, everyone.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Hiya.
Hello.
Hi guys.